Hello and welcome to a Wonder Care podcast. I'm Sheena Mitchell, pharmacist and mum of 3. I combine healthcare and practical advice to support you on your parenting journey. I know I said my next episode would be on probiotics, but I have parked that for a couple of weeks because the amount of research that's involved. So this week, I wanted to bring you an episode which might be even more useful at this time of year. This week, I am doing a book review with my crew. So my 3 kids have chosen 5 books each, and they're going to just tell you what's great about them. This podcast is suitable for parents or for children who want to choose some books to read, or even aunties and uncles who want to gift a book but aren't sure what's good for a particular age group or what's popular. And after we hear my kids' recommendations and explanations, I then am going to give you all of the recommendations that came in on Instagram. I asked people in my stories on Instagram at wondercare_IRL to tell me what age their kid was and what their favourite book is. This hopefully will give you an idea of where to start, because it can be hard to know what to buy for every age group. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Right, so before we get started, I just want to chat about something important. So, Sophie, obviously you read a lot of books.
Yeah.
Yeah. And while it's nice to get a gift of a book every now and again, I don't let you buy all of the books you want to read. Sure, I don't.
Yeah, you let us choose one book in a bookstore.
And that could be like every few months, because otherwise, what would we be? Brokely broke. So,
I was going to say a really big bookshop.
But no, we wouldn't, because you don't give away the books ever that we buy. So
Okay, a bookstore room then.
A bookstore room. We'd have to sleep on books. Our house would have walls made of books. So what is a good alternative? Where do you get the books that you want to read?
The library.
Yes. And why is going to a library so good?
Because, you can read books for free. You can take them for maybe, 2 weeks, and then you give them back.
Yeah.
I like going to a library because you don't just have to get one book. You can get, the max of our library is 12, but some libraries are different.
Yeah. Really what we're saying is, while we're recommending a lot of books, and, it can be nice to get one book as a gift sometimes. But other than that, you can just write a list of some of these recommendations. If you have your own kids and, you're trying to find books that they'd like, you can just go in to the library and get them there without emptying your bank account every month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get stuck in. Sophie, I will get back to you later. But for now, I am going to chat to your little brother first.
Okay.
Right. I have my first victim. Nope, I definitely mean my youngest child. So, who are you? What is your name and what age are you?
I am Callum and I am 8 years old.
8 years old. And do you like reading?
Yeah, I find it really fun and relaxing.
Yeah, and when's your favourite time to read?
Sometimes bedtime and sometimes just if I'm bored, I know exactly what to do.
You can just go and read a book.
Yeah.
So today you've brought along 5 of your favourite books so that you can tell anyone out there who has to buy a present for their nephew or their niece or their friend, and they can get an idea of what to buy from your recommendations. So what's your first book and who is the author?
Well, my first book is The Legend of Kevin and the author is Philip Weave.
Okay. What is the book about?
Well, can I tell you what I like?
Yeah.
So, I like it because there's lots of mythical creatures and it's really good for young people.
Okay. Is it hard to read?
Well, not really.
And is there pictures?
Yeah.
Some pictures and some writing.
Yeah.
Why did you choose that as one of your 5 favourite books? Why do you love it so much?
It's really funny and, it's just really good.
And do you read it more than once?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read it 16 times.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And what is your next favourite book? I'll put this one here so it's not in your way. And who wrote it?
It is called The Scruffy Puppy and it is authored from Holly Webb.
Okay, very good. And what's that book about?
Well, it's just about like this dog and this girl, and the girl adopted the dog, and she named the dog Scruffy, and there's these two bullies, or can't remember how much bullies.
Yeah.
And they were bullying on how ugly the dog looked.
Okay. What happened? Oh, well, you can't tell me the end. You're right.
And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You just told me not to tell you the end.
Yeah, no spoilers. You're right. Okay.
You can read it.
Is it? Thank you. And is it? Maybe you can read it to me. Is it sad or?
Sometimes it's sad. Sometimes it's like really happy. At the end, it's just like a dream come true.
Aw.
Yeah.
And funnily, we had a dog called Scruffy, didn't we?
Yeah.
Then the next book.
So this book is called The Cartoons Who Saves the World and is authored by Tom Allen.
Okay, very good. And what's this one about?
Well, it's just about these two people on 3 cartoons.
Okay, so 2 real people.
Yeah. And there's also 3 people from cartoons that they made.
Wow. And they come to life?
Yeah. And there's also, not sure how many, but the cartoons go to the real world and they have to try and get back by a magic pen.
Okay.
And basically that will open up a portal.
So is it quite exciting, that one?
Yeah, but it's also quite long. It's around 218 pages.
Okay, did it take you a long time to read that one?
Yeah, it took me around 6 days.
Well, that's not very long. I've had the same book upstairs in my bedside locker for a year. You're much better than I am.
Next book.
Okay. Go for it.
So,
what's it called?
I know both of these authors and names off by heart. Investigators, and is authored by John Patrick Green. I'm gonna put this there because I already know.
Because you don't need any references.
Yeah, I don't need it.
Come in a bit closer to the mic, though. Yeah. Okay. And is this one book or is it a series of books?
There's around 7 books.
Okay, but the first one is just called The Investigators.
Yeah, but the next one is called
I'm looking at the back here because you flung it at me. Take the Plunge.
Yeah, and then Off the Hook, and then Ants in a Pants, and then Boulder Buddies. Wait, Braver and Boulder.
Very good. And
then Out and Teased, and then All Tied Up.
Okay, so there's a lot. So
yeah.
You can keep going with these books if you like them. And why did you fall in love with this series so much?
Well, you got me it for my birthday. And I just read it once, and then I realised that there's 2 people called Mango and Brass, and it's really funny because Mango says just investigators are on the case, and then Brass says, Mango, get off my case.
And what do they do?
It's basically just investigators, but well, of course they are. But
well, you see, I don't think we have explained what these people actually look like.
Basically, they're alligators.
So that's key. So in the name, investigators. I get it. The eye rolls I'm getting right now. Okay, so they're 2 gators who solve crime.
Yeah.
Do you love following their adventures?
Yeah.
Okay. And what is the last book you have chosen?
It doesn't actually say who this is authored from, but it says that it's from Puffin Little.
Okay, I think we'll just go with Puffin Little. Okay, and what's the name of the book?
Little Environmentalist.
Okay, and why did you choose this one?
Because it's really good for young people and it tells you how to do composting, and if you really want to compost but you don't know how to compost, this literally all you need to do is get Little Environmentalist Composting and then just read the book. Boom, know how to do it.
Thank you very much. Would it be really mean of me to ask you to choose your absolute favourite of these 5 books?
Probably the Scruffy Puppy.
Oh, Callum, who is 8 years old, thank you very much for giving us your book recommendations. Did you enjoy your experience here at the Wonder Care podcast in the garage?
No. Bye.
Bye. Okay, Callum has left the building. And now, who do we have?
My name is Isla and I'm 11 years old, but I'm 12 in February.
It's very important.
Yes.
Thank you very much for joining me, age 11 and almost 12. What 5 books did you bring? Well, we'll start with the first one.
So one of my most favourite books I like is the Murder Most in Ladylike series. It's by Robin Stevens.
Okay, and why do you like it so much?
You can't tell straight away who's the murderer. It's not really obvious. So I like that. It keeps you guessing.
It's age appropriate, right? It's about murder. I'm a bit concerned here about what you're reading.
It's a bit gory, but like it's not that bad.
Okay, so nothing too scary.
No.
Okay. Do you like the characters in it?
Yeah, I really like the characters. I like their names and I like their background stories and their personalities.
Okay, so very well developed characters.
Yeah.
Do you find it to be a page turner? Do you know what that means?
Yeah, you want to keep reading.
Yeah.
You don't want to stop.
Yeah, and it's one of those.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Who did it?
And actually, what's your favourite time to read?
When you're trying to get to sleep, it really relaxes you and it really makes you feel a lot less like you're a lot more relaxed and ready, and it makes you maybe a bit more tired, so you're ready to fall asleep.
Okay, the next book. What is the name of it and who is the author?
This book is called The Girl Who Stole an Elephant, and it's by Nizrana Farooq.
Okay, and why did you choose that book?
Because I thought it was really good, and I loved, they were very good at describing everything.
Okay, and what's it about?
So it's about this girl called Chaya, and she lives in a village in like Africa or Asia or India, and it's about kind of the friends she makes and her adventures.
Her adventures, okay. And is it a funny book or is it a serious book, or, you know, what kind of vibe is it?
So there is funny bits, but they do get very serious. It's more aimed at a younger audience than a Murder Most in Ladylike, but it's not too young.
Yeah, okay. So less gory.
Yeah, less gory.
And easy to read?
It is, yeah, it's easy to read.
Okay, perfect.
And the characters make me laugh.
Okay, well, that's always a good thing for a book. Thank you. And what is your next one and who wrote it, please?
So my next book is I, Cosmo by Carly Sorosiak.
I know it's really hard to pronounce the names sometimes.
But I really like this book because it's in the dog's perspective.
Okay. Is
The
Cosmo a dog? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's called I, Cosmo because he made an oath when he was a puppy to look after his human little brother, Max.
What kind of book is it?
So it's a very like warm, it's a feel-good book.
Okay.
But there's loads of funny bits in it and you laugh. It's like she was a dog, or it's like the author was a dog when they were writing the story. It's like they were a dog, but they can write.
That would be tricky with paws.
Yeah. Type it.
Yeah, in a specially adjusted keyboard. And is it one that you would be, you know, eager to keep reading like a page turner? Or is it a gentle one you can put up with?
Yeah, because you can kind of stop because there's no real cliffhangers. It's just nice. Like you want to see what happens, but it's not as suspenseful as a murder book or like.
Yeah. And kind of probably then a nice comfort book.
Yeah, and obviously it isn't just the dog in his normal life. There is some cool stuff that the dog does, but no spoilers.
No spoilers. Very good. Okay, and what's your next book?
So my next book is The Day I Got Trapped in My Brain by Amy Huberman.
Okay, and why do you like this book?
So I really like this book because I love the character, Frankie, the main character.
Okay.
And I love the message that the author was trying to put across. I'm not going to spoil, but it's a really good book, and yeah.
And like, is it a comedy or so? I haven't read
So
it.
there's a lot of funny bits, and it's very like your dream land kind of thing.
Okay.
So it's in her head, and it's like it's really cool.
A lot of imagination, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. And again,
Candy Floss Clouds.
Candy Floss Clouds.
It's that kind of vibe.
Yeah. And so again, is it a funny comfort book, like, or is it a page turner? Like, how easy was it to read?
It was it was funny, so it was like it wasn't boring to read. So it wasn't like, it was kind of the same as iCosmo. It wasn't like it wasn't any time. It wasn't really suspenseful.
Yeah.
Maybe on like a few chapters, but like it wasn't.
And was it feel good?
Yeah.
And you liked the message that was coming across?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And what's your next book?
So my next book is A Place Called Perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
And this is a series book. So there's 3 books in the series.
Okay, and who wrote it?
So Helena Duggan wrote it.
Okay, and I actually remember when you started reading the season, I would say our series, it probably was a couple of years ago now.
Yeah.
And you've come back to it again at
Yeah,
nearly
I've
12.
read it. I've read it multiple times because it's really good. Like it's not too scary for maybe 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, but it's not too like babyish for like 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds.
Yeah, yeah. And what would you say, what kind of book is it? Roughly what's it about?
So it is a bit of a page turner. Like you do want to know what happens in it.
A bit of mystery there.
There's a bit of mystery and there's like a twist. Like you're asking questions about the town. Why is it so weird? Why is it so...
Yeah, so it's not like a murdery...
It's not a murder. No, it's not a murder story.
So it keeps you gripped, but not scary. So that would probably be good for, as you said there, a wide age
Kind of
group.
gets in the first book it's like really good. Then it gets a bit more extreme. You've gone from that to like zombies in the third book. So
Did you enjoy that one as well, though?
yes,
Okay.
possibly more than the first one.
Okay. Zombie lover. If you had to pick one book that you could read over and over again, which one would it be?
Ooh, if I had to pick my favourite, it would be A Murder Most Unladylike. But when you know what happens, there's no real point on reading it.
Okay.
So I'd say iCosmo and The Day I Got Trapped in My Brain, because you can read them over and over again, and they make me laugh so much.
That's a very good thing about a good book.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Isla. I'm going to ask you to go and get your sister. Thank you. It's like a production line. So we have my final child here. So who are you and what age are you?
I'm Sophie and I'm 10.
Okay. Tell me why you love reading so much.
I like reading because it's like going into a different world. As soon as you get into a book, it's like you're somewhere else completely. Like, I like reading books about fictional girls that are like going through high school or whatever, and I like seeing what it's like for them and seeing things in their shoes even though they're fictional.
What is the first book that you have chosen and who is the author?
The first book I've chosen is Hetty Feather by Jacqueline Wilson. This book is dated in like the 1800s, and Hetty's feather mum had to give her to the Foundling Hospital when she was born. I like this book because she is kind of like the odd one out in everyone there. Everyone there is like so perfect and prissy. When she's there, she's the odd one out, and the matrons and everything hates her. Until she meets her friend Polly. They're best friends.
Very good. And so do you think it's an adventure book, or what kind of book is it?
It's definitely adventurous. I don't want to spoil too much because there's a lot going on. But there's loads of books in the series. And she has a different name in each one because she keeps changing her name.
Oh, and you are a bit of a Jacqueline Wilson fanatic.
Yeah, I like the big books because small books literally last me a few hours. I like the books that last me at least a few days.
And when's your favourite time to read?
Whenever I can.
Okay, fair enough. Right, what's your next book and who is it by?
The next book is The Naughtiest Girl by Anne Digby. So it says it's written by Enid Blyton, but it also says it's written by Anne Digby.
Yeah, so after a quick Google search, it looks like Enid Blyton created the Naughty Girl series, but then Anne Digby wrote some additional books in it.
Yeah.
Just for clarity. What do you like so much about these books?
So I like The Naughtiest Girl because she really doesn't want to go to this boarding school called White Leaf. She wanted to stay at home with her sort of childminder, but like she stays with her for like overnight and stuff and everything. So she doesn't want to go to White Leaf. So she decides when she goes, she'd be the naughtiest girl and see if she could get expelled. But things don't turn out because the way their rules are different to regular schools. So instead, she begins to love Whiteleaf and she stays there to the very end.
What is your next book and who wrote it?
My next book is Tom Gates. It's written by Liz Pitchin.
Okay.
I like Tom Gates because, like, most of the books I read are about girls in school. I like Tom Gates because he kind of isn't the same as like other boys that are written about. I like Tom Gates because, like, he's funny. He makes me laugh at home, and he's just really good.
What's your next book, Soph?
My next book is Thing by David Walliams. I like this book because it's about a girl who wants more. She never stops wanting more. And one day she asks for a thing. But her parents don't know what a thing is.
Okay. And is it funny?
Yes.
A lot of giggles.
Yeah.
Okay. And you like David Walliams a lot, actually. What are some other of his books that you like?
The Midnight Gang is really good. There's Billionaire Boy. The like Ice Monster, Gangster Granny. Yeah.
Okay. And what is your final book and who wrote it?
My final book is The Extremely Embarrassing Life of Lottie Brooks. Her titles are a mouthful. I like her books because it's about a girl in high school who she has loads of friendships with different people, but she learns a lot of things from that, and she has 2 pet hamsters, which are really cute, and she's really funny.
Okay.
And they're big books. They last me a while.
Okay. Thank you, Sophie, for all of your recommendations. Another very big reader. Have you enjoyed being on the podcast?
Yeah.
Good. So now I'm going to give you a lot of recommendations that came in from followers of my Instagram page at wondercare_IRL. So I asked everyone to tell me what age their child was and what their favourite book is. And I got loads of answers, so I'll run through them now. Okay, so now that the children are gone back in to play with the dogs, I am going to read out some of the recommendations that came in through Instagram. So first of all, for children who are aged 3 to 5 years of age, got a lot of recommendations. So anything from Juliet Donaldson, basically. And yeah, someone's put in here what the Ladybird heard. And actually, that is one of my favourite books. I love reading it. And sometimes the kids will ask me how fast I can read it. And it's rhyming and it's a lot of fun to read. The Gruffalo obviously came in a lot. Also books by Rachel Bright, Tom Percival, Enid Blyton, such as The Magic Faraway Tree. Lots of David Walliams as well. Someone who has a 4-year-old is saying Marmalade, but all of the books. We also have some recommendations for Kipper and Little People Big Dreams. Oi Frog, Sit on a Log. I love that as well. There's a few others in that series which are really funny. And then, of course, Niall Breslin, he does a lot of books which are really good for children who suffer with anxiety, but actually just any child, because it just kind of helps them to think about pausing and thinking about their emotions. Someone is recommending Rabbit and Bear, and also Paddington Bear, and Zog and the Flying Doctors, and Rosie Revere Engineer. And actually, Chris Houghton books are coming in a lot, and Rachel Bright books. So that's for 3 to 5 year olds. Then next I asked about children 6 to 8. So again, a lot of answers for this age group. We have the BFG Twits and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which are obviously all Roald Dahl. We have anything by Cressida, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Cressida Cowell. The Christmas Pig. We have a lot of Diary of the Wimpy Kid here. Diary of a Wimpy Kid is actually a big hit in our house as well, so I don't know how that didn't make anyone's top 5s. Another one which came in a lot and again is really popular in our house is Dogman and Shifty McGifty and Slippery Sam. Also Bear and Rabbit. And yeah, for this age group, I do really like the kind of Dogman books because, you know, they're very cartoony. So it's a really good way for children who who are starting to read but can't read, you know, just a lot of words at once. There's pictures and there's a lot of distractions. So I think that's a really useful way to get them into reading. It certainly helped in our house. Oh, someone's recommending Super Tato, and that is good. Also the Friendship Fairies. very good as well. Beano, also good recommendations. Big Beano fans here. Someone is recommending Isadora Moon, and we have Millie McCarthy here, The Investigators, and Cat Kid. So obviously Callum is a big Investigators fan. David Walliams comes up a lot here as well, and also an author that actually I don't myself know, which is Dick King Smith. And then another few recommendations for the Big Dreams books, the Little People Big Dreams books. And also actually the Ultimate Football series and Tom Percival books. So there was a lot there. So thank you everyone for their recommendations. Then we have the 9 to 11 year olds. So this was funny looking at the responses because it all of a sudden became Harry Potter world. So an awful lot of Harry Potter recommendations. Diary of a Wimpy Kid again, Horrible Histories, a lot of murder type books recommendations again. So things like what Isla was talking about there, A Murder Most Unladylike, also Murder on Train series. A lot of people recommending David Walliams again and Tom Gates, which Sophie had been talking about. Also the Treehouse Story series and the Worst Week series and Leona Ford Millie McCarthy books. So they were the main recommendations, the most popular ones that came in for that age group. After that, we went to 12 to 14 and it was really about Percy Jackson. There was a lot of recommendations for Percy Jackson books, also Harry Potter and Alex Rider. So I actually was asking my nephew over in Scotland when we were visiting family there last week what books he would like because he would be in this age category, and he was talking a lot about Alex Rider. He was explaining that he's a spy and there's a lot of adventures in the books. He has to overcome a lot of obstacles or villains. Definitely a page turner, and they also have a TV series. So that is good. And also young Bond books are meant to be quite good for this age range as well. Right, next we had the 15 to 7-year-olds. These were Maze Runner, Divergent, and The Hunger Games was really popular. Harry Potter is still popular in this age range, and Little Women actually came in a few times. A couple here that actually I wouldn't have thought that age group would read because I still aspire to read. I think I actually did read this one years ago, but The Kite Runner. So there's quite a few there. And finally then I was looking for book recommendations for children with medical conditions or any form of neurodiversity or any form of special needs. So quite a popular one was The Huge Bag of Worries. And also there was Don't Worry, Be Happy by Poppy O'Neill. Then we have a recommendation for the Asper Kids, Secret Book of Social Rules. And we have another one, I Am Special by Peter Vermeulen. Also, Julia Donaldson and Dear Zoo and Peppa books were popular. The same then for Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Hard Henry. And, you know, it was a very good point made that, you know, one person was saying that her son loves books, to have them in a series. And, you know, because it's so much fun to collect them and have them all lined up and organised on your shelves. And have to say, there are two out of the three of my kids are the same. They like to keep all the series together and it looks really nice, and it's just a lovely thing to be able to go and grab from your shelf as well. Another recommendation, which is kind of for 12 plus and suitable for kids who might be struggling with reading or for dyslexic readers, and that is called Because of You, and it's by Eve Ainsworth. And actually that author has another one as well, which is called Just Another Little Lie. And this one, it's a difficult topic, but she tackles the subject of alcohol addiction in the household. And again, it's really good for people who are struggling or reluctant or dyslexic. And the age appropriateness is 13 plus. And I just want to say, even I know from in our own house, even just something as simple as being celiac, Isla found it really helpful to have books that dealt with other children who had just been diagnosed with celiac disease and how to kind of help them understand it. So it's nice to have something that's in kind of age appropriate language. So it's teaching them as well as making the topic just less daunting and medical. So, you know, I think books are a really good resource if your child is able to read and is struggling with any kind of dilemma. Sometimes, you know, your child mightn't necessarily want to talk to you, but you might feel that they would benefit from knowing that they're not alone and they're not the only person who has suffered in whatever aspect of their life they feel like they're suffering. So it can be a nice way to help offer some reassurance and empathy when sometimes you might be struggling to find ways to do it directly yourself. Anyway, there's lots of book recommendations and I hope you find them really helpful, and it'll give you lots of ideas for presents, or as we said at the start, even just a nice list to go into the library with. Talk to you soon.